Uh, Trying to position my two screens so that they are close to each other, and I can see. Okay, I can see somebody on Instagram. Yeah. Hi everyone. Welcome to our open house on breastfeeding. This is going to be the last program for the breastfeeding week. I hope you've all had a wonderful time. I have one of our few men moderator with me in the studio, Mr. Ismail Ali. You're welcome. Please say hello to. For those who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, you can see him. But for those on Instagram, you can only see me, but you can hear him. So please say hello to our friends.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's program, the Raffle Drawer. Good evening, ma'am. Dr. Gbemisola
Yeah, good evening.
Boyede. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us. So I can see some of you already joining us on Facebook and on Instagram. Please share the video and let me just share the video. Is our ATP Breastfeeding Week 2020. So please share the video and invite your friends to join us. And so we are going to be, this is a open house, which means you can ask any question, you can give any comments, and at the end, for those of you who have shared your stories with us, we're going to have a raffle draw, and then we're going to pick one winner to get our breastfeeding pamper pack. So I think you are looking forward to that. So I have the list with me, and so we're going to put it through our name picker live. You're going to see the name picker pick the random winner live. So it's going to be interesting. But for the next 1 hour, what we're going to do is to take all your questions on breastfeeding. How has our breastfeeding week been? I believe it has been wonderful. I put a question on the group yesterday about how has the week been. It's been all about breastfeeding. So every 5th to the 7th of August every year is breastfeeding week. We celebrate breastfeeding, we promote breastfeeding, we support breastfeeding. And yes, and ask the pediatrician. Sorry, I'll still allow you to give us your feedback from the men perspective. And ask the pediatrician is on ashamedly, on repentantly, on whatever adjectives you want to put there. Supports breastfeeding 100%. So we're going to promote breastfeeding every time. We are not blackmailed or we are not intimidated by people who say, why do you always talk about breastfeeding all the time? That is what we choose to do. And we are all going to talk about breastfeeding all the time. So thank you so much for those of you who are joining us. So Mr. Ali, how has it been for you this week on ATP and breastfeeding?
All right, it has been wonderfully well because I just gave back to a baby girl and I'm doing exclusive breastfeeding right now.
Yes.
So I'm seeing the positive sign. So doing exclusive breastfeeding to the age of 6 months, it's wonderful. We are all going to enjoy it. So it's good. I employ all mothers, and we are employing our government, federal government, up to the state level to always give our mothers that 6 months, for the first 6 months, to allow them to take care of the baby so that they can breastfeed exclusively. So it will help us all.
Yes, thank you so much. Yes, in fact, thank you so much for reminding me. And I hope you have all seen our petitions. Have you seen all our petitions about breastfeeding? So we've petitioned President Buhari and the whole federal government of Nigeria that mothers in Nigeria should get 6 months maternity leave. Our hashtag 6 months for EBF is there. Hashtag 6 months mass leave for EBF. Please, we have so many petitions. We have over almost 30 petitions on change.org because we're petitioning each of the state governors to promote and support breastfeeding. And so you need to go sign all those petitions until all our governors are giving mothers in their state 6 months maternity leave. And we're also petitioning President Buhari that staff of the federal government should also get 6 months maternity leave, because if we want mothers to do exclusive breastfeeding, we need to give them the time to do it. And when mothers are worried about working, going to work, it's difficult to do exclusive breastfeeding. So we want at least the 6 months breastfeeding with full pay, because it's an investment. And like this team, the team of this week, breastfeeding, protecting breastfeeding is a shared responsibility. It is the responsibility of the pediatricians, it's the responsibility of the mothers, it's the responsibility of the federal government of Nigeria, it's the responsibility of our state governors. And I also want to give a shout out to those governors that are breastfeeding champions, that are protecting breastfeeding. Shout out to to Governor Jide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State. Lagos State is the very first state in Nigeria to make 6 months maternity leave for mothers. So that's why I know some of you are saying, okay, well, it's for the first 2 babies and then the 3rd baby, but at least start with the 2 babies. They don't want you to start having too many babies because you want to keep going on 6 months maternity leave. That's why. But at least let's see embrace what has started. Let's celebrate them. Let's encourage them. Who knows? Tomorrow they may make this 6 months maternity leave for the first 4 babies or more. So don't be worried. So change takes time, but I'm happy that Lagos State is one of those states that are promoting and protecting breastfeeding. So shout out to our governor, Jide Sanwo-Olu. Shout out to the Kaduna State Governor, Malam El Rufai, and for promoting breastfeeding by giving staff of the Kaduna State government 6 months maternity leave. So thank you so much. And so those of you in Kaduna, I know you get 6 months maternity leave. Shout out to the Ekiti State Governor, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, for promoting, for protecting and supporting breastfeeding by making sure that mothers in Ekiti State get 6 months maternity leave. So let's we want to appreciate you for being a breastfeeding champion. And we also say shout out to the governor of Oyo State, Engineer Seyi Makinde, for making sure that mothers in Oyo State get 6 months maternity leave. Thank you so much for protecting and supporting breastfeeding. So shout out to all those governors. And I think somebody told me that in Enugu State also there's a policy already for 6 months maternity leave, but she is also a staff of Enugu State government, and she told me she didn't get the 6 months because I don't know whether there's some gap between the policy and the implementation. So we're calling on the Enugu State government to implement that policy. Thank you for having approving the policy, but it must be implemented. It must be enforced. Mothers must get 6 months maternity leave so that they can exclusively breastfeed their babies. And we are calling on President Buhari, the whole of the federal government, to implement. I'm calling on the head of civil service for the federal civil service to implement that, Mrs. Folashade, exclusive breastfeeding, to make sure that they provide 6 months maternity leave for mothers so that they can exclusively breastfeed their babies. We are calling on all the other governors except the 4 governors I've mentioned. You can do it. If Lagos State can do it, if Ekiti can do it, if Oyo can do it, if Kaduna can do it, we all can do it. All our mothers needs to be supported, because when we promote breastfeeding, when we protect breastfeeding, we are promoting the future of our countries. We are protecting our children. 1 million Nigerian children die every year from things that could be prevented. One of the childhood strategies that will prevent that 1 million deaths is breastfeeding. So when we give that 6 months, it is not just about individual mother getting 6 months. It's about making sure we are protecting our children from dying. We in Ask the Pediatricians Foundation, we are working towards the fact that no Nigerian child should die from things that can be prevented. So we don't want any Nigerian child dying, and we're looking forward to that day when child death will be 0. Right now, it's about 1 million every year. We're looking forward to that day where it will be 0, and I know it is possible, but one of the ways to make it possible is by promoting and protecting exclusive breastfeeding for the first 6 months, because it's the best way to feed your babies. So please, let's all sign the petition. Let's call all our governors, let's call all our decision makers, let's call them and let's encourage them to promote and protect breastfeeding. For all the private organizations, We're also calling on you. We are just starting. We're starting with the government, but we're also coming to the private organizations as well. And shout out to all the private organizations that do give 6 months maternity leave to their staff. I know some of you. I know about Nestle. I know Nestle gives 6 months maternity leave to their staff. I know about Standard Chartered Bank of Nigeria. So I can't remember all the other ones now. So don't apologies if I don't mention your name, but I'm just talking of the one that coming to my brain straight away. So please, if you can do it, please support your staff by giving them 6 months maternity leave with full pay, because they need to also take care of the family. They need to take care of their children. So thank you so much. So this is a shout out to all everyone. And you may think you are not a decision maker, but you can sign the petition so that decision makers will know that this is possible. In some countries, they give people 1 year maternity leave. Yes, this is possible. Of course, the government takes care of the payment of the salary and all that, but it is possible. It is an investment into our future. And that is why we are here. And at the Pediatricians Foundation, we are standing and we are calling on all our decision makers to make sure that they protect and they promote breastfeeding, because that is the only way we are going to reduce all those unnecessary deaths of our children. And it is possible, it's cheap, it's easy, it's available. So it's something that we can all do. So it's a shared responsibility. Okay, so it's open now. Ask your questions. Tell us what is your story. And I really want to appreciate our nurses. They came to we have two special guest speakers during the week. One talk about the myths on breastfeeding. Oh my goodness, that was so amazing. And she has even some gift to give some of us today, which is quite good. And another person she demonstrated breastfeeding for us yesterday. And I think many of you really love that. So thank you to all our nurses who have been who supported us during this breastfeeding week. And also congratulations to those people who won the breastfeeding quiz. And I noted that it was keenly contested, but thank you, Alice. Most of you did very well, which is quite good. It means you are very knowledgeable about breastfeeding. Congratulations to those who won the first three. And many of you have shared your stories. And one of the common denominator in your stories, which is what I'm proud of, is the fact that many of you were able to attest to the fact that because of ACP influence, we are able to influence you and support you to breastfeed. And I was reading a story yesterday of a mom that said her mother kind of got her mother got tired of her and left. She like, you are not listening to me, because the mother wanted her to do misfeeding. And she was not listening. She said, I'm going to do exclusive breastfeeding. And she did exclusive breastfeeding, and her baby is looking so well and so fine. So this is what we are asking for. So thank you to all of you who have shared your story with us. And today, like you said, we're going to give at least one person will get it's a raffle draw, so anybody. But the most important thing for me is not the raffle draw. That's just our own way of having fun during breastfeeding week. But the most important thing is that you breastfeed your baby. The most important thing is that you exclusively breastfeed your baby, and your babies are doing so well, and your baby's brain protected, so that is the most important thing. So thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. We really, really, really appreciate it. All right, so please ask your questions. Let's start sharing some of the comments that have come in. Okay, so those on our Facebook group, try and make sure you give StreamYard permission to see your name, or else we're only going to be seeing Facebook users. We won't see your name. All right. So most of these are just greetings. They're just saying hello.
Yeah, I can
Hello,
see one
everybody.
person asking question.
Yes, okay. I just want to quickly go through the hello people so that they won't feel like, oh, Dr. Gbemi didn't show my greetings. Thank you so much for joining me. Okay, so I don't know who is saying I got the code, can't find where to log in. I don't know who you are. Yeah. Okay, I already got a moderator in. I guess maybe that's one of my moderators. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Somebody is asking a question. Yes, please refer us.
All right, please, Doc. When is the maximum time to store breast milk in the freezer, not refrigerator, when there is steady power supply?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a very lovely question. We will usually say 3 months. That in other words, if you express your breast milk and you store it in a dedicated freezer means it is not your freezer that you open every day. It's just kind of freezer that you keep things and you only open them when you really need to bring things out and you have a constant power supply. Then usually 3 months, because the idea is that even before 3 months, most of the time you would have used it anyway, but it doesn't get spoiled. I'm not so sure whether it can go beyond 3 months, but I guess those who did the research, maybe they did it up to 3 months. So so then when you have expressed breast milk and you have stored it, when you want to use it, always start with the oldest. So that is why when you're expressing your breast milk, you should label it. You should put the date and the time. There's a reason why we do that, because so that you will be able to, when people now need, the reason why you're expressing breast milk is that so that other people can help you. And this is one of the reasons we're asking you to sign the petition so that you can be at home. You don't need to express, you can be home and feed your baby. But for those of us that has to go back to work and other people have to help you take care of your baby, then you can express your breast milk. So going back to work is not a contraindication to exclusive breastfeeding. There are many ways to overcome that. So one of the ways is to express your breast milk and store it. So immediately you start having your, whether it's 3 months you are getting now or whatever months you're getting, as you're breastfeeding, be expressing and storing. Expressing and storing. Then when you are not around, maybe at work or you are not home and somebody need to feed your baby, they can use the stored breast milk. And they should start with the oldest stored breast milk. And what you do is that when you bring it out, you allow it to thaw. You allow it to thaw. That means you allow it to defrost. And then you can warm it. And you just warm it in hot water. Don't microwave breast milk. Don't microwave breast milk, because microwave doesn't do even eating. Because of that, some parts may be too hot, some parts will still be cold. That is how microwave works. And if you give a baby, you can burn the baby's mouth. We don't want that to happen. So what we do is that bring out the breast milk, let it defrost on its own. And then you now put that the thawed milk, you put it in another bowl of hot water, and then it can come back. It will come to maybe around room temperature or the temperature of the bowl of the hot water, and then you can feed your baby. It will be even, and it's so simple. So that is how to do it. Okay. So that is that answer to that. So I believe that if you stop breast milk for 3 months, by the time that 3 months you should have used it. It's not meant like you should store it forever, because you are storing so that you can use it. So, but always start from the oldest before you go to the one you just express. Sorry, I quickly got a question on Instagram. Thank you, Instagram people, for joining me. Ugo is asking that, Doc, what is my view on donated breast milk? Very important question. Thank you for asking that question. Before the advent of HIV, we believe so much in using what we call wet breastfeeding, or where, in other words, you can use breast milk for another mother. In fact, we used to have what we call milk banks. Milk banks means that those of you that produce excessive breast milk, you can express it and store it, and other babies can use it. And we used to do that a lot. And for most of our hospitals, we have the milk bank. So even when a mommy is sick or there's no breast milk, we just go to the milk bank and get breast milk from another mother to give a baby. So there's nothing wrong with that. But we start having issues with HIV, period. Reason being that with HIV can be transmitted through breast milk. So for hospital, there's nothing wrong with using donated milk, but we have to be sure that the mother is not HIV positive. And then another thing, that sometimes there's a window period in HIV. In other words, when somebody could still test negative, but actually could transmit the virus. And so because of that, the risk is high. So these days, people are kind of moving away. But if it's somebody you know, for example, let's say a mom is late, and maybe a sister or a family member is breastfeeding, and of course, we all know she's HIV negative and know that she can breastfeed the other baby. She can give her home milk to maybe her niece or nephew, or depending. I'm just giving an example. So there's nothing wrong with it, but the main thing is to make sure there is no infection. We don't, and because these days people can sue and all that, so they don't want to say where did the baby get you from? Maybe it's from the milk. So we try to avoid doing donated breast milk because of that. So most of the milk banks have kind of faded out, but we prefer the mother's milk. But if we have somebody who is negative and we're so sure the person is negative, then there's no problem with using donated milk from confirmed HIV negative mothers. So no issues at all. Thank you. Let's go on. Do you want
There's
to read it?
another question here
Yeah.
by a Facebook user. The name is not showing.
Yeah, don't worry,
Says,
just read the
please,
question.
ma, how do I get my company to comply to the 6 month leave?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, currently there is no law. There is no law that say anybody must give 6 months. There is no law. So because there is no law, you can't force anybody to comply. You can only appeal. So you can only appeal to your company. You can start. You can also start a change.org petition targeting your company, your medical, your CEO or whatever of your company, and say, I want you to give 6 months maternity leave in this company, and it can be done. So you have to be the one to start that petition, and it can be done. You can give example, like if you're in Lagos State, you can give example that the Lagos State government is giving 6 months. Can you also do it? Because the government is not the one paying your salary, so the government cannot force your company to pay your salary. So in other countries, what would normally happen is that if you are working with a private organization, when you go on mat leave, your job is protected. You go on what we call like a minimum wage or something. So the government pays that because you're on maternity leave, but you are also free to stay home. And when you are done, you go back to your job. Your job is not lost. You should No mother should lose a job because of opting to
Breastfeed.
exclusively breastfeed their babies and stay home to take care of their babies. These are also some of the things we really need to be, we need the women and all the women advocates. These are the things we should be fighting for, because I saw one of the story that broke my heart, that a mother said that because she chose to breastfeed her baby for 6 months, she lost her job, and so, but she was happy at least that her baby is fine. That's a huge amount of sacrifice, mothers have to make. And you can imagine that these mothers, we are the one keeping our nation going by making sure our children are well and all that, because if our children are not well, our nation cannot progress. So
Yes.
mothers are already making a lot of sacrifice, so they should not be losing their job as well because they have to breastfeed their babies. So these are things that we, pediatricians, the human rights advocates and all that, these are things we need to stand up for. These are things we need to demand and ensure that it's implemented. So the dear Facebook user, you can set a petition to your company, or you can discuss with your company HR and ask them. Some people can go for what I call like a 50-50 thing. In other words, you can tell them, I want to go on mat leave. The company will say, I will pay you for 3 months. For the next 3 months, if you stay home, we will not pay you, but you can come back when you're ready. So some people will go on the mat leave, but they will not get paid. That's why we say we want that 6 months to be with full pay. In other words, you should still get your salary for that 6 months. So, but you can start negotiating. If you have a, what they call them, like union in your company, those are the things you can negotiate with the management of your company and all that, and you can give them other examples of people who are doing it and tell them the benefits, like they are also supporting and protecting the country when they do that. Oh no, my moderator has disappeared. I hope he comes back. All right. Thank you. Yes, somebody is saying there's 1 month. Yes, it's 1 year maternity leave in Europe. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, in the UK, it's 1 year and you will get paid. I think the government gives you at least a minimum wage. If your company wants to pay you, they also pay you as well. So that's good. So it's possible, and it's possible. My moderator come back. Oh. Okay. I don't know whether I have any more questions on Instagram. No, I think that's all. Please ask question if you have question. This is open house. Anything about the breastfeeding week you want us to talk about, please go ahead. Um, okay, Amaole Jennifer is saying, is the situation where baby is not getting enough milk? How do we get about it? Thank you so much. That's a very, very beautiful question, because this is the one question that makes most mothers not to do exclusive breastfeeding, because mothers are always being sold the lie that they are not producing enough breast milk or their baby is not getting enough breast milk. And I get that question all the time. And reason is because people say, oh, my baby is always crying. And they think that when your baby is crying, that means your baby is not getting enough breast milk. The first question you need to know is, how do you know your baby is getting enough breast milk? And I was so happy yesterday. I was listening to the other presenter who talked about lactation difficulty. She really nailed it, and I really want you guys to go watch that video of yesterday, because she nailed it. The reason why most mothers don't breastfeed exclusively is because there's always one person who is trying to make you not to breastfeed exclusively, and they're always trying to tell you you are not producing enough milk, and you are worried and you are anxious about not producing enough milk. Unfortunately, what that does is that when you are worried and you are anxious, you actually will stop producing milk, because there are hormones. Breastfeeding is about, there are a lot of hormones going on in the body. And there's an hormone that produces breast milk. We call it, there's prolactin, there's oxytocin. Those are the hormones that are responsible for making you to breastfeed. But there are also some hormones, we call them stress hormones, cortisol and the rest. Those hormones are anti-breastfeeding hormones. In other words, when you are stressed, when you're worried, when you are anxious, you produce a lot of those stress hormones. When you produce a lot of those stress hormones, they stop or they work against the production of breast milk. So it becomes a bad vicious cycle. And this is why we try to teach you about how to make sure you breastfeed well. Because the reason why most mothers don't struggle with breastfeeding is because we don't get it right from the beginning. And like the nurses were teaching us yesterday and on Tuesday, you must understand how to initiate breastfeeding. You must know about the position. You must know how to put the baby to the breast. Breastfeeding is something you need to learn how to do. It's an art. It is not something that comes naturally, but you can be supported to learn. That is why the nurses are there. That's why we talk about breastfeeding friendly hospitals. Number one, you start preparing to breastfeed when you are pregnant. So you start preparing to breastfeed when you're pregnant. You need to start psychologically preparing your mind. I want to breastfeed my baby. You can exclusively breastfeed twins. You can exclusively breastfeed twins. So there's no reason why a mom of a single baby cannot exclusively breastfeed her baby. I think we start struggling when we start getting to three babies, because obviously, and it's because of the time, that it will take. But, breast milk is demand and supply. The more demand, the more it is produced. So there's no reason why you cannot produce enough breast milk. And I'll tell you what normally happens that make you to stop producing breast milk. Number one, if you're not psychologically ready, and people start coming and say, some people tell you breast milk is not enough, or breast milk is not enough. It's a myth. And I don't know why apologies to all the grandparents and all that, but they always have this, maybe breast milk is not going to be enough, or better go and buy this. Don't buy into that lie. That's the first lie to get out of your brain, because once you believe that lie, you are not going to, because breastfeeding is dependent on the hormones and on your brain. The breast milk is produced in the brain. It is the hormone in the brain that tells the breast milk to be produced. So it's so important what you have psychologically. And that is why we talk about being close to your baby, hearing your baby's sound. Just thinking about your baby, you will start producing breast milk. There's some connection there. But if you are not with your baby, you are psychologically stressed and all that, you are not going to produce breast milk. And then that's when you will get stressed. So first, psychologically prepare your mind. I can exclusively breastfeed my baby, whether they are single or twins. I can do it. Two, learn how to attach your baby to the breast. The number one reason why most mothers struggle with breastfeeding is not painful, but mothers start getting engorged because most people put the nipple in the mouth of the baby. Not the nipple does not contain breast milk. the place where the breast milk are stored, what we call the what we call the milk sinuses, is under what we call the areola. And like the nurse was telling you yesterday, when you want to put the milk in when you want to put the breast in your baby's mouth, imagine a baby yawning, a big yawn. The mouth must be wide open, and then you must put the whole breast in the mouth, the nipple, and that black part. Almost everything must be in the mouth, because you need all those things to be in the mouth for the baby to suck. When the baby is not sucking on the areola, when the baby is sucking on the nipple, no milk is produced. The baby is frustrated. The mother will feel pain. That's why most of you have nipple sores and nipple pain. You will have all that, and the milk is stored. It will just get bigger, bigger in the breast. Then you start having what we call engorged breast. You start having pain in your breast. Then you start becoming tired of breastfeeding. These are the challenges. But if your baby is sucking properly, well attached to the nipple, to the areola and the nipple, sucking on it, the milk flows. The baby is satisfied, then you also satisfy, and the more the baby suck out the milk, the more milk is produced. So, but if your baby is not sucking on the milk, then you're not going to have more milk produced, and your milk starts reducing because there's no waste. It is demand and supply. What is demanded for is what is going to be supplied. If there's no sucking, now mothers will also say, I'm waiting for my milk to be produced for me to breastfeed. The breastfeeding production, or what we call the milk release, is dependent on you breastfeeding first. So you need to put your baby to the breast, and that's why we say within the first 1 hour you must put the baby to the breast. So these are the issues, because when baby is born, sometimes, oh, the mother is tired, let's go and give glucose, let's go and give water, let's go and give formula. Then they deprive that baby that first 1 hour to initiate that milk release. These are the challenges, and this is what we need to correct. You must start putting your baby to the breast within the first 1 hour. Milk is coming out, or milk, that is what is making the milk to come out. It's that sucking reflex on the breast that cause the milk to start coming out, because the milk is produced in the brain. Always have that at the back of your mind. So you need to make sure you put the baby to the breast within the first 1 hour. The baby must be properly attached to the breast. You must keep breastfeeding the baby frequently. It's a demand and supply cycle, and you do that, and don't give any other thing. When you give other things, you give water, you give formula, the baby will not suck more on the breast, because there are other things taking place of the milk, which means that the brain will be getting the message, we don't need much breast milk, and then your milk supply would reduce. And then you will now start to worry that your milk supply is reduced, which means you will be producing stress hormones. Then your milk supply will reduce further, because those hormones will reduce breast milk production. So it becomes a bad vicious cycle, which needs to break. So this is why we've been talking and stressing on getting it right from the beginning. Because if you get it right, if you have the right information, right mindset, your baby stays with you. You're always putting your baby to the breast, breastfeeding on demand, the milk will flow. So I hope that is that. So if you are struggling with production of milk, you think you're not producing enough milk, please see a pediatrician like myself, or one of our lactation specialists, or one of our nurses, so that they can take you through. Don't go and see people that will tell you better go and buy formula, because they're not going to help you. And that is it. So that is number one. Number two, crying does not mean the baby is not getting enough milk. This is one of the most misunderstood situation, unfortunately, because I will see mothers, they will feed their baby to the point the baby is vomiting the milk back. But because the baby is still crying, they will think the baby is not getting enough milk. Crying is the only language the baby speaks. That is the only language the baby speaks. So the baby cries for everything. The baby does not cry only for food. The baby will cry for when it's hot. The baby will cry when it's wet. The baby will cry when she's happy. Seriously, the baby will cry when she's happy, because baby only starts smiling from 6 weeks. So the baby will cry when the baby is tired. The baby will cry when the baby wants to sleep. The baby will cry for every damn thing. But I don't know why mother just think when the baby cries, it means baby is hungry. And that is why you keep feeding the baby will still keep crying, because it is not all about food. So you must always have that at the back of your mind. So I always tell mother, the only way you know you are producing enough milk is that your baby is gaining weight. That is the most objective. So you see a mother, the baby is gaining weight, 2 kg in already 1 month. And the mother will say, oh, I'm not producing enough milk. So where's the weight coming from? If your baby is gaining weight, you are producing enough milk. So your baby can cry for many reasons, colic, everything. So don't always assume you are not producing enough milk. If your baby is crying and you think you are not producing enough milk, you can express your breast milk and give the baby. So some of you, that's why you will say that even when you give your baby 120 mils of breast milk, baby will say cry. So a baby who takes 120 mils of breast milk at one feed, the baby is getting enough milk. So the crying is not about the crying does not mean baby is not getting enough milk, because that is what mothers now start saying, my baby is not getting enough because baby is crying. No, that's not it. So there are other evidence of baby getting enough milk. The most objective is weight gain. A baby who is gaining weight is getting enough milk. That is it. So that is number one. Baby will be passing urine. Baby pass urine every shortly within 30 minutes of feeding, they will pass urine. Baby will be passing stool. Though some breastfed babies may not pass stool every day. So there are other signs. So don't always assume that every cry is hunger. It's not hunger. And don't get upset. Sometimes, and baby don't only suck because they are hungry. Because some of you also saying, oh, my baby is always sucking, it's always sucking on the breast. Babies suck for many reasons. Sucking is also a pleasurable activity. So they suck for pleasure. It's not only about food. Baby also suck because they want to bond with their mother. They want to feel you, and they want to have that security that you are not running away because you are their milk supply, you are their milk bank. So those are the reasons why they keep on sucking. So that does not mean baby has not got it, baby is hungry, because everybody, oh, baby is always sucking, that means baby is hungry. No, baby suck for other reason. Baby, that's why you see them, they start sucking within 2 minutes, they slept off again, because that particular sucking is not for hunger, it's just for feeling close to the mother, it's just for bonding with the mother. So once you have that right information and knowledge, then you will not be unnecessarily worried, anxious, and you can relax. And I always tell mother, whenever I answer this question, I always tell you just relax. And mother think I'm just trying to calm you down, but I'm also telling you how to get your milk production back, because when you are anxious and stressed, you are not going to produce milk. So you really need to relax so that you can produce milk. So I hope I didn't really answer that question in detail, because it is the number one reason most people struggle. And then the naysayers are always next door and telling you, you better just go and buy formula because this thing. But they don't tell you that when you go buy formula, you are depriving your baby of all the benefits of exclusive breastfeeding, because formula does not protect your baby against infection. Formula does not help your babies in terms of their brain development. So there are other things, allergies and all those things. Your baby is protected against them when you exclusive breastfeed. So those are the things you have to think about. So don't think about just I'm feeding my baby's tummy. Think about the health, the development, everything is part of the breastfeeding. So formula will only feed your baby's tummy with food, but it does not give your baby all the other benefits and protection against diseases and all those other things that are important that you can only get from exclusive breastfeeding. So I hope that's helpful. Ismail, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Why is your okay?
Yes, I am.
You change your background or something? Okay, so let's
Yes,
move
I
on.
have to move.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. I don't know why people saying I can't even enter the link. I don't know which link you're entering. Somebody said I didn't see the petition for Taraba. There's petition for Taraba. I can put that for you straight away, because we have I already said that we have a standard link for all the states. So maybe let me just put it in as a banner, then maybe put this also in comments. Sorry, what is this? HTTP slash double so Taraba 6 months leave. I can't see very well. We have for all the states. So let me just change.org/ about 6 months leave. Okay. Or somebody else can just help me to post the link. I think this is a link. I hope oh no, sorry. I think I wrote rubbish there. Let me edit it. Or somebody can just help me share the. Yeah, this is the one for Taraba. Oh no, I keep making error. I don't know because I can't see very well. Yeah. Yes, this is for Taraba. So, or somebody can just post it on for you on our Facebook group. Thank you so much. Let me go back to the comments. Okay, I think I've answered that. We've answered that. So Taraba State, somebody should share Taraba link, please. Knowledge is power. Yes, so knowledge is power. Yeah, so this mom is saying, my baby of 2 weeks, I've successfully beaten my nipple and they are swollen. I think I've answered your question already. If you have listened to me from the beginning, it's because you are not attaching your baby to the breast. Your baby is not meant to be sucking on the nipple. The baby is meant to suck on the areola. So the nurse that came yesterday, she came with a breast and she showed you, so please watch the video of yesterday. I really love the fact that she demonstrated it. We also have our breastfeeding videos. We even have the one on what to do with nipple pain, what to do with breast pain. Please, if you post this question, if you don't know how to get to the video, one of our moderator can help you, put you a link so that you can, or you just go to our Facebook group, go to the guide section, watch in fact, all the breastfeeding videos, they are in the announcement section, including the one on the nipple. But the number one reason why you're having nipple pain and sore nipple is because you are not attaching your baby to the breast properly. The baby is sucking on the nipple. And the baby is getting frustrated, so the baby will bite on your nipple harder, thinking that will make the milk to come out. No, it's not milk in the nipple. The milk is in the underneath the areola. That is where the milk banks are. So sorry about that. You need to rest, but unfortunately, it's painful. But you still have to let the baby suck on the areola parts. I'm happy your baby is just 2 weeks, so you're just starting, so we can quickly get you back on the right track. When you are going to breastfeed your baby, don't just put it quickly in the mouth. Let the baby mouth be open wide like a hole, like a big yawn, and then you put the whole breast in the mouth, and then she demonstrated it well. So I think it's better when you see it demonstrated. Make sure that whenever you're breastfeeding your baby, you should barely see that black part. Everything should be inside. So that is the appropriate way to breastfeed. Sylvia, I'm not sure what you are trying to tell us because we can't see any comments under your okay. Olatumake is saying, I breastfeed my baby, the second breast usually bring milk at the same time. Oh, no, don't waste your breast milk. So when you are breastfeeding your baby and your other breast is producing, put a bottle or something or a cup underneath it. In fact, that's the best time to express your other breast. So you can start expressing that one. If you have a breast pump, the electric one, you just attach it. It will just be pumping out the breast for you, and you can store that second one so that that's where you can start having your stock. In fact, I know mothers, by the time they are going during the days of 3 months maternity, by the time they are going back to work, because they have pumped out a lot of milk, their freezer is full of breast milk. So that's the time for you to pump out your breast milk. Okay, Feiwa is here to rescue me because Ismail has disappeared on me. All right. Hi, Feiwa.
Sorry, Ma. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, Ma. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming to the rescue. Okay.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, these are all comment. Thank you. We appreciate. Okay, so
Yes.
if you want to read the question,
Yes, yes, ma. Toyin Raffle Ubusa, sorry if I don't pronounce your name very well. Good day, sir slash ma. My baby is 3 weeks old. Notice whenever I'm breastfeeding him, there's a way he moves his legs and hands as if he's having cramps. Please, what can I do?
oh no, most time babies don't. They are not having cramps. So I'm sure you're a first time mom. Babies enjoy
Yes.
breastfeeding. It's a sign of enjoyment. So some of them they'll be touching their hair, some of them they'll be moving their leg. They are having a nice time. So all those ones, a baby who is not enjoying breastfeeding will not suck continuously. The baby will remove the mouth, will cry. That is the baby who is having cramps. The baby will not continue sucking because they are they are having if they are being stressed or anything. So a baby who is sucking continuously and touching the head or raising the leg or doing whatever, they are just having a nice time, and that is nothing, absolutely nothing to worry about. Like I told you earlier, breastfeeding is pleasurable. Babies suck for the pleasure. They love sucking. So it is just their own way of having enjoyment. Some of them will be rubbing their tummy and rubbing their navel or touching their legs and touching their hair. They're just having a nice time. So you don't need to worry whatsoever about that. So that's it. I think I have two questions on Instagram. Let me just quickly take them before I forget them.
Okay,
Um,
ma'am.
we'll come back to Facebook later. So I think Ugo is still asking, okay, a follow-up question to your question. What is the effect of breast milk relative from one child to the other, or is the effect the same on all babies? Okay, I'm not really sure I got that question, but are you saying whether the benefit of breastfeeding is the same for all babies when they are breastfed, or is it different? Well, if that's the question, please, that's fine. It's the same. The breastfeeding effect are the same. Number one, breast milk is the best food for babies, for growth, for brain development, for protection against diseases. And it also protects their mother from breast cancer, from ovarian cancer, from type 2 diabetes. And breastfeeding is not just about now. The effects of breastfed babies carry on to the time the baby is an adult. So as an adult, they are protected against obesity, against type 2 diabetes, mellitus, and all that. And they found out that babies who are exclusively breastfed do better on intelligence tests compared to babies who are formula fed. So the benefit of breastfeeding is not just about now, it's also about the future. And it's also not just for the baby, it's also for the mother who is breastfeeding, and it's also for the country. So like every year, if we exclusively breastfeed our babies, 820,000 deaths will be avoided of children. So you can imagine that. So breastfeeding is a big thing for us as pediatrician, because we're talking about baby living and not dying here. So the benefit of breastfeeding, I did that on Monday. So if you want to watch the video, is still on our Instagram. It's on our Instagram TV. You can watch it. It's on our YouTube. It's on our Facebook group. You can watch it. You will see. I really went to home with all the benefits of breastfeeding. Common with me is asking, what is the normal weight of a toddler of 1 year? A 1 year old should weigh about 10 kilos. That's the average. But some could weigh a little bit less. So anything between 80 to 120% of the 10 kg is still normal. So some people could weigh a little bit less, some people could weigh a little bit higher. So higher like 12 kilo, but averagely 10 kg. How many are they? Yeah, I think you got that. Yeah. Okay, well, what food can I eat to produce more breast milk? Oh, very interesting question. What food should I eat to produce milk? Normal food, the same food you eat. So there's no special food to produce breast milk. I know some people say drink palm wine, drink this, do that. There are so many things. Breast milk is not from the food you produce. So I know it's a bit confusing to say that, but let me just say that you need to drink there's a lot of fluid being produced. So because of that, you can get dehydrated if you're not drinking water. So you need to drink more water, but you just need to eat normal. The same food you normally eat. But more than eating, you need to relax. You need to have your baby close to you. Breastfeeding production is an hormone-based thing. There's a lot of hormones being involved. So the most important thing for those hormones is the fact that you are thinking about your baby, you are close to your baby, you have a good how do I call it, like disposition for breastfeeding and all that. Those are the things you need to make sure that you can produce breast milk. So it is not about what food you eat. It's also not about the size of your breast. So breast milk is not. So most of what we have in our breast is fat. That is not the milk. It's just your own fat. So people that have big breasts and people that have small breasts, you all have the same 20 sinuses. Those sinuses are the places where the milk flows through. So it doesn't really matter. So whether you have a big breast or small breast, you will still produce breast milk, because breast milk, like I told you, is produced on demand. It's not like it's stored somewhere out. So people always think, oh, people that have big breasts, they have more milk. Not necessarily true. They just have more fat layer in their breast. So it is when your babies suck on the breast, then the breast will be produced. So it is being produced according to demand. That's why if you stop breastfeeding, the milk dries up, because that is it. So when your milk is full and it's produced, your breast feel bigger, and when the milk is sucked out, then you seem as if it deflates. So it's not about the size of your breast, it's not about the quantity of food you eat. We just said mothers, because you are breastfeeding, you definitely need a little bit more calories, no more than just 500, and than what you will normally eat. But that doesn't mean you should eat double or eat twice. Just eat a little bit more, but drink more water, and you should be able to produce plenty of breast milk. But the most important thing that is responsible for production of breast milk is that your baby is sucking on the breast. That is the most important requirement for breast milk production. Thank you. Okay, this question again.
Does breast pump cause cancer of the breast?
No, breast pump does not cause cancer of the breast. Indeed, breastfeeding, whether you are pumping it out, whether it's your baby sucking it out, protects against breast cancer. It's the other way around. So the pumping is just like draining out the breast milk, the same way your baby is doing. Breast pump is just exactly what your baby is doing. Your baby is using the mouth to pump it, while when you use a pump, or either manual or electric, you are using a machine to pump it. It's still pumping, and so you are still breastfeeding, and it actually protects you. And the science have found out that the longer you breastfeed, the more protected you are against breast cancer. This is why you should also breastfeed. Even if you're not going to breastfeed for your baby, you should breastfeed for your own sake, because when you breastfeed, you're also protected against breast cancer. So it's a benefit. So breast pumping does not cause cancer. It actually protects against breast cancer. I hope that is helpful. All right.
Facebook user, good evening. Okay, Omotosho Omotayo. Please, ma, is it okay? I guess that's true that whatever a mother eats, that's what we give to the baby. Eating high carbohydrates.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's okay. That answer can be yes or no. I will say why it is yes or no. The food itself is not what converts into your breast milk. So when you eat, what you eat is not going directly into your breast milk. There's what we call, when you eat food, it is broken down, okay? It is absorbed, okay, into your own intestine, then it goes into your blood. So the end products of the digestion is which the body absorb will be used in making the breast milk. Okay, so we want you to eat balanced food and all that, so that the body can have enough of all the resources, enough of the carbohydrates and product, enough of the amino acids, so that it can have enough to make the breast milk. Because breast milk contains everything. It is true in the sense that there are some things that you eat, they go straight into your breast milk without and they will end up in the breast milk. That is things like drugs. If you take drugs, if you take alcohol, it will go straight because the body doesn't digest those ones. They will go into the blood, and because the breast milk, the whole process will involve taking things from the blood. So things like some drugs will end up in your breast milk. Things like alcohol will end up in your breast milk. And that is why we say for a breastfeeding mother, you can't just take any drug. You can't just take anything. So before you take any medication, I don't know. I always answer this question on ATP, and it never ceases to amaze me. People will take medications and then they will now start reading the leaflets. And it is after they've read the leaflet, they will now say, oh, I shouldn't have taken that medication because I'm breastfeeding. And I'm like, why did you take the medication before you read the leaflet? You should read the leaflet first before you take the medication. It's always amazes me every time I see those kind of questions. So please, as a breastfeeding mother, you don't just take any drug, you don't just take anything. You must take only what a doctor prescribed. And if you are going to take it, you must even read. Because sometimes a doctor may not know you are breastfeeding if you have not told them. So you must always tell them that I'm breastfeeding. No, if you are giving me antibiotics, if you are giving me this, I'm breastfeeding. Is it going to affect my baby? For example, if you are taking cancer drugs, you can't breastfeed because it's contraindication. That's why some mothers will decide not to take anti-cancer drugs until they are finished breastfeeding, until they are out of it. So, or some people just decide not to breastfeed at all. So there are some drugs that are not compatible with breastfeeding. There are some drugs that are compatible with breastfeeding. So your doctor can always give you those ones. But it is not the food you eat directly that will end up in the breast. It is going to go through some processing before it will end up in your breast milk. At the same time, there are some food that if you are allergic to them as a mother, your baby may also be allergic to them. So you have to be careful you don't eat those. So some of you will notice when you take a particular drink or you take a particular food, your baby will react in a particular way. Either your baby will start passing stool or your baby will be fussy and all that. I what you said about that, don't take it. Some people say ginger, or if you take all these flavors that people use and all that, it can affect your baby's your baby could be sensitive to them or allergic to them, frankly. Then you should avoid taking such. So I hope I didn't confuse you. But if you are confused, just ask again, then I can. Oh, who is this person with this breast?
Question again. Although she said electric breast pump, I don't know if that one is different.
I don't know whether somebody has sold you a lie, but whoever has sold you a lie, please give it back to them. Whether it's electric breast pump, or whether it's manual breast pump, or whether it's hand breast pump, none of them cause breast cancer. Don't let anybody scare you from breastfeeding, because it's the other way around. They actually protect you against breast cancer. So relax, breastfeed, express, don't be scared. And if you are scared, use your hand. Your hand is the best pump. Use your hand to press. It's the way to do it, and you don't even need a machine. Don't worry.
Okay, Osaratin Sharon Rose. You're breastfeeding and you find out you're pregnant. Is it safe to continue breastfeeding?
Very good question. Very, very, very good question. Reason is that breastfeeding itself is protects you against pregnancy. It's 98% contraceptive if you are exclusively breastfeeding. Most of you are not protected because you're actually not even exclusively breastfeeding. If you exclusive breastfeeding, when I say exclusive breastfeeding, I always like to say clearly, because I've seen people ask me, I'm exclusive breastfeeding, but I can be giving my baby water, and I'm like, huh? So exclusive breastfeeding means breast milk only, no water, no pap, no nothing. Breast milk only, no water. If you're exclusive breastfeeding, you are actually 98% protected, because what we call it protects you against ovulation, and so you may not even have your menstrual period. But it is not 100%. Most family planning method anyway are not 100%. So if you are not exclusive breastfeeding, or maybe you are one of those people that is out of the 2% that won't be covered, that 2% period, if you have unprotected sexual intercourse, you can get pregnant. That is number one. So we advise that if you are breastfeeding, please do additional family planning. do additional family planning. That's number one. I don't like answering question about I'm breastfeeding and I'm pregnant. You know why? I don't like you to get too pregnant too quickly, because you need to recover for yourself, and it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your other baby as well. Of course, most of us mothers are strong, and we kind of weather it through. But it's not the best. It's not the best. Honestly, it's not the best. I heard a sad story today of a mom who has five children under the age of 6, and she took her life. And I don't know what really happened, but the first thing that comes to my mind is this woman has been so stressed. That means if you have 5 children under 6, that means you are getting pregnant every year.
Every year.
A lot of stress. So please don't do that. So do family planning so that you can recover. Pregnancy, breastfeeding is a lot of stress on your body. I know you people don't feel it, but it is. So you need to recover. We recommend 2 years gap in between the pregnancies. So that is number one. But if you are now pregnant, you can breastfeed. Doesn't stop you from breastfeeding. It depends on you, actually. So if you are strong enough, because some mothers struggle in the early phase of a new pregnancy, vomiting, what do you call it? What do you call it? Early morning sickness, morning sickness. It really troubles a lot of mothers. So if you're having those kind of trouble, you may struggle to breastfeed. And so if your baby is already over 6 months and it's already on infant what's it called, complementary feeding, you may want to stop. But if you are not struggling and you are able to cope, please write down breastfeeding. We call it tandem breastfeeding. So you keep breastfeeding this one, and you end up breastfeeding with the other baby as well. So we call it tandem breastfeeding. So you are going to have your own artificial twin babies. But please, let's avoid this scenario. Let's avoid this completely. It's better that way. All right. Thank you.
Good evening to you too, Queen Sarah. Okay. No?
Okay, we've had this one. Okay, sorry.
Okay. Ola Gundoye Bose. Hello, ma. Please, I want to find out why my baby does not sleep deep. She mostly gets startled at any sound made.
That is normal for most babies. I think every mother knows that. So all of you know how you tiptoe around your room when your baby is sleeping. So anyway, tell me the age of your baby, but it's normal for babies to wake up on. To me, that's a good sign. It means your baby's hearing is good. That means your baby can hear. So you are the one that needs to be careful not to make loud noises around babies. So babies, they are very sensitive to sounds and stuff like that. There's nothing, that is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure you don't make too much noises around them. That is perfectly okay. We don't worry. Okay, I don't know what Vera is asking. Maybe
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, Suliweni Javozana. Sorry about pronouncing your name that way. My son had cold and his nostrils were blocked, which made him to stop breastfeeding for 2 days. My breast became stiff as a result. I let the milk to drop to ease the pain and release the breast. I don't know what if I did the right thing by wasting the milk.
It is never it goes into waste. So why should you waste the breast milk? You can express your breast milk and store. You can always store your breast milk. And your baby's having blocked nose does not stop baby from breastfeeding. What you need to do is to put saline drop in the nose. The mucus will soften and flow out. But let's even assume your baby struggle with breastfeeding. Then you can give baby the milk with cup and spoon. So you can give your baby the express breast milk with cup. So next time, I'm telling you this for next time, if your baby cannot suck directly, express your breast milk and feed the baby with cup and spoon. Even if your baby doesn't want the milk, don't throw it away. Store it in the fridge. If you store your breast milk at room temperature for 6 hours, it is fine. If you put it in the fridge, it will store at least for 5 days. If you put it in the freezer of your fridge, it will store for at least 2 weeks. If you put it in the your deep freezer that you don't open every day, that has good constant power supply, it will stop for 3 months. So don't ever waste your breast milk. Store it and use it later. So that's a good idea. And please don't stop breastfeeding. What you did is actually wrong, not because you even waste your breast milk, but because you were not breastfeeding. Because when you stop breastfeeding, your milk can dry up, because the brain gets the impression that, oh, maybe you have stopped, so, but at least I'm happy maybe you start again and the milk keeps flowing. Please, next time, don't stop breastfeeding. Keep expressing it and storing it, but aim for your baby to keep sucking as well. Even if the nose is blocked, just put saline drop. It will soften the mucus and the nose will open. I hope that is helpful.
Okay, Toyin Raphael Bosu. Okay, she says, secondly, my 3 weeks old baby usually has mouthful of breast milk, and sometimes it makes him to cough or feel uncomfortable until I pause for minutes.
Yes, so sometimes some people can be very greedy, especially usually. Well, let me not blame you again, but usually it's because sometimes mothers we ignore the cues. So I was very happy when the nurse was saying it yesterday. Some of us, we only use crying cue for our feeding our baby. That is the last cue. By the time your baby is crying, your baby is really hungry. So there are other signs. You see your baby, they start putting their mouths all over the place. They start putting their own hand near their mouth. Those are the baby telling you, I want to suck. So don't wait on the baby now start yelling and yelling. Then, because when they start yelling, then they will grab the whole breast as if it is running away, and they can suck a lot. And and there's what we call suck and swallow rhythm. So when the baby suck, then they must swallow it. Then they suck and they swallow. So that's why you hear that sound. Because some people, I saw some questions, some people are asking that maybe babies make sounds when they are sucking. They need to swallow. That sound you're hearing is the swallowing sound. So they suck the breast milk and they swallow it. So some babies, if they rush too much, and it's like they are rushing too much of the sucking, and they are not taking enough breathing to swallow, and that's because they are so hungry and they are much in a rush. So what you did is the right thing. Just pause, take off the breast from the mouth, and let the baby swallow the one in the mouth. And then when the baby has calmed down a little bit, then you start all over again. And usually you see that once they settle, they will now begin to suck routine. But you need is that first 1-2 minutes that they are very much hungry, that they want to swallow everything in one breath. They need to pause to breathe as well in between, and so that's very important. So what you did is right, but please don't wait until baby is very hungry before you feed them. You all know what I'm saying. If you are a mother, if you ever breastfeed, you know what I'm talking about. Okay.
Please, thank you, Ma. Even fathers do think that crying means that baby wants food.
Exactly, but the fathers don't know better. We have to teach them. So you are the mother, you have to tell them, and you can tell them what I've told you now, that every cry in a baby is not food. I really want mothers to get that, because I see people always thinking everything is food. In fact, one person was asking me the other day, and she was like, even when you feed the baby is vomiting, but the baby is still hungry. The baby is not hungry. It's obvious, because if the baby is hungry, then your baby will not be full to the point that the baby is vomiting the food back. So that means you are the one giving the wrong interpretation. There are 100 reasons why a baby will cry. And like I said, the only language they speak in the first 2 months or so is crying. They don't have any other language. So everything they want from you, they cry. But you are the perfect mom that you have to figure out. This is the cry for food. This is the cry for wet nappies. This is the cry for sleep. This is the cry for tiredness. This is the cry for happy. You have to just figure it out. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes we're all clueless. You do all your triage, you do this, you do that. When you don't know what to do, just pet them. So most likely they will go back to sleep, and that's it. So I hope that helps. Yeah. Okay.
She says, thank you so much. I feel my baby doesn't suck well because after like 2 minutes of breastfeeding, she withdraws.
Yeah. There are many things that could be happening with your baby. Oh my goodness. Our time is gone. We need to go now. Okay, but I'll try and see and answer all the questions that come in before 7, so we can do our what's it called? Our raffle drawer and all that. First, there are many things that could be going wrong with your baby. because you have not provided enough information. Number one, is the baby well at the number one reason why this will happen is because the baby is sucking on the nipple, because there's no milk coming from the nipple. So when the baby suck for 2 minutes, nothing is coming out, the baby gets tired, he takes out his mouth. I mean, who wants to keep sucking? Is a lot of work for baby. That's the only work they do. So it's a lot of energy for them. So it's to be sucking and nothing's coming out. They get tired now. So that is number one thing. Number one. So what you need to do in that case, make sure your baby is well attached to the breast. Attachment to the breast, 90%, or in fact 99% of breastfeeding. Once you get the attachment right, every other thing else is okay. So that is number one. Then number two, if your baby is well attached to the breast, but your baby only suck and stop, your baby may be having a health issue. So some baby, for example, a baby who have a heart condition or a baby who has other problem, one of the ways we know is that they cannot suck continuously for a long time. They will suck, they will be tired. They will suck, they will be tired. So you need to see a pediatrician. But that is not very common. Majority of the time is the first one I told you, because we are not attaching our baby well to the breast. I hope that is helpful. Okay, we need to rush now.
What can one do to produce more milk during extraction?
Electric pump are better for extraction. If you don't have money for electric pump, use your hand, but you need to learn how to do it, because you go watch our breastfeeding video on how to express breast milk. Most people express breastfeeding by pressing up. There's no milk hub. It is all fats. The breast milk is under the areola, that black part beyond your nipple. That is where you need to press, because that when you press that place, you will see the milk gushing out like a big tap. That is where you need to press. So of course you can massage down, because it's a circle. So you can't keep pressing, and then it's just like what do I want to use now? Those tab that you have to you press it to come out, then you allow it to refill again before you press again. That is the kind of method. So when you press, you need to release, so that if you press, you have removed all the milk there. Then you need to release it so that milk will flow down, and then you press again. So there are methods to do that, but you need to, I think it's best you watch the video, or I think the nurse also tried to demonstrate that yesterday. I'm not sure whether she did it at the end, but you can watch our breastfeeding video on how to express breast milk. There's so much you can express at every point in time. So most time, if you express and you are done, you turn to the next one. Then sometimes you need to go again and give it some break so that you can produce more. If you also express what is there, you have to wait for it to come again. But most people, when you use manual pump, it's very laborious and it takes time. But I find out that the electric pump work better, because they do all the work. And you see that the pump, if you watch those electric pumps, the way they work is that they suck and then they release. They suck and they release, because you have to follow that circle. If you are using your hand too, you must follow that same principle as well. And of course, if you are just finished breastfeeding, if you express, there won't be much much milk. So if your baby is sleeping, before your baby wake up, you will know when your milk is full. I think we all know that. You will feel your breast heavy. That's the time to go and express. If your breast is already feeling flat and empty, there's no point expressing at that point in time. So it's best to express when you are full, when you will feel that sensation. I hope I'm talking for everybody. You will know when your breast is full, because you will feel it, or you will start leaking. You will start seeing that you're leaking breast, and that's the time to go and express. And when you finish expressing, give it some time before you go. You can't express continuously forever. And if you are not patient, if you are like some of us that are not very patient, then go for your electric pump to be doing it for you. So some people, even when they are walking, they just put their pump and they're walking. There are many of those things that they sell nowadays in the shops that you can buy, and you'll be expressing and be doing your work. You won't even know something is going on. So you can try those ones. Yeah.
Okay. Olajumoke Wida Suleiman, she says, well done, doctor. Whenever I breastfeed my baby, my second breast usually wastes milk too.
You shouldn't waste milk. You are the one. I just put the bottle there, or the cup. So the milk, so that's another way to extract breast milk. In fact, that's what I normally do. So when I'm breastfeeding on one hand, I'm putting my breast pump on the other side to be expressing that side, so that by the time I'm finishing breastfeeding on one side, I have another bottle full to keep for tomorrow's work or another. Because some of us that are working mothers, then we have to express for the following day, so that, but you breastfeed all night as well. So that is what you need to do. So don't let it waste. Put your a bottle there, or a cup there, or you can even start expressing with a pump. Just express it, and you will keep that one for when you are not at home, so that they can help you. It's able to breastfeed lying down. You can breastfeed lying down. You can breastfeed sitting
Okay.
down. You can, if you like, you can breastfeed standing up. But most other things are know the technique. There's a technique for doing it. If you don't know the technique, you may end up causing more problems. So most mothers are not very good with that lying down, especially when the babies are still small or you're a first time mom. It comes with experience. So if you are not sure, please sit up, support your back and support your legs and breastfeed. But if you know how to do it, it's the easiest thing, because you can keep sleeping and keep breastfeeding and everybody will be happy. But please don't block baby's nose. So that's why you need to know how to do it.
Rita Angel Samuel, she says, please,
Mm.
doctor, my 8 months old baby always wants breast to be in her mouth while
Yeah,
sleeping at night. If she
yeah.
sleeps for a few hours or an hour, she cries again for breast to be in her mouth. Please, how do I stop this?
You just stop it. That's it. You don't do it, because see, the baby is using your breast as a dummy. That, so some people use the breast as, number one. It's number one. Some babies want it as a security, because they are just worried that this woman with this breast, she may run away. So let me make sure that I keep that breast in my
Hold
mouth.
her down.
She will not run. So it's a security thing for the baby. Honestly, some people use it as a dummy. They just want something in their mouth. They are not sucking it, but they just want something. So what I found out that is the best option is to not do it. So if you know your baby has finished sucking well and is supposed to be sleeping and want breast, don't, even if the baby cries. So one of the things you must learn as a parent early, and that's why all the mothers, don't allow your baby's cry to be the dictation, because the baby is going to be in charge. But the baby is not in charge, even though they like to know, like to think they are in charge. They control the whole house. They control the whole house with their cry. They are the most selfish human being, babies. So you are the one that has to say, I'm the parent, so I know what is good for you. So you have to start doing it early. So it comes even with the sleeping. So we always say, don't allow your baby to always fall asleep on your hand. Let them learn to fall asleep on their own. So even when they finish sucking, sometimes just put them down. Let them get to suck to get into sleep on their own without you having to rock them. Because if you do that, you keep rocking them. That's why some mothers, you can't, when they carry their baby, when the baby sleep, when they want to put the baby down, the baby will not allow it, because they love it. They love that being held in their hands. But you have to stop it one day. The one day you're going to, next few days you're going to stop it, you are going to have a lot of crying. So just be ready for that. So, but after a while, when baby will cry, you just try and either rock them on their car seat or something. Just get them used to falling back asleep without you holding them, or without you putting the breast as a shocker in their mouth. After a while, they get the message that this woman is not going to put this breast in my mouth, and I have to sleep, so I will sleep. Seriously, it may take you a couple of days to establish a new rhythm or a new habit, but you can do it. Just don't allow that cry to be the master, because baby will always cry. They will always want to use their cry to manipulate you, but you are the one. As long as you know you are not. So crying of babies, I think I need to do a whole topic on crying of babies. As long as you know you are not hurting your babies, it's not as if they are in pain or anything. You don't need to be worried about their crying. It's okay for them to cry. There's nothing wrong with that. They're crying, they're exercising their lungs, they're breathing in here. It's perfectly okay. It's only if
Maybe
your
the
baby,
way the mother feels emotionally when they are crying.
I know, but
Just
you
letting
have
the
to
baby
be,
cry.
that's what we call tough love. Sometimes it's also called tough love. So you
Yeah.
have to learn, don't allow crying or babies to control you all the time, because they will always cry. So you need to just get, as long as you know the baby is happy, there's no pain, there's no discomfort, the baby is just crying because it's not having his own way, that's fine. It's okay to cry. After a while, the baby gets that message as well, and then they move on, because that's the only way. If you don't do it, you will be just be stuck to that, and the baby will cry more the day you are not around. That's why you won't be able to leave your baby with anybody. So you get used to it. And some of you notice that when you're not around, your baby is actually okay. Baby doesn't see the breast, baby doesn't cry, baby is fine. But once you are back, and then we go back to the same circle. So it means that the baby can actually do without the breast in their mouth, but they just want you they want you to be they want to control you with the whole thing. So you have to be the one to say, no, I'm not going to allow it. So don't worry. But if you stop it, baby will also get used to the new rhythm, and that's it.
Okay,
Yes.
Can I store my breast milk in the freezer? I don't have a fridge.
You have a freezer. That one is good now. It's better self. You can store in the freezer. We've answered that already. You can store in the freezer. You can even store
Okay,
long
my
time
baby is
freezer.
bigger than 6 but she sucks continuously. I can't say when she's full or not. She sleeps off, I withdraw, only for her to start making feeding gestures in the next second. Please enlighten me.
I've answered your question. If you are late to my video, you need to watch it all over because I really spent like over 10 minutes answering this question. So just to let you know that every feeding gesture does not mean baby wants to feed. No, your baby doesn't need to suck continuously. No. So the baby is already full. That sucking is for pleasure, is for just like what I just said down, it's for security, is for bonding. It's just to make sure that this mother with this breast, she's not running away. So what you need to do is just remove the breast and let the baby sleep. Sometimes you may need to, pet the baby a little bit to sleep without the breast. After a while, that's why some people use dummy, but we don't advocate for dummies because one, the baby sucking a lot of hair. Two, they drop a lot, causing infection and all that, germs and all that. Then the hair, when baby sucking a lot of hair, it fills the hair. Three, some babies can have what we call nipple confusion with the dummy as well, just like the same thing with the bottle. So we pediatricians, I don't say it's a whole lot of debates, both for and against, but I think WHO and most of us pediatricians don't like the dummy, so we don't recommend dummies. So find a way to calm your baby and let baby sleep. So, and babies in the first few days, because they are also learning to suck, they are still new as well, so they tend to suck more frequently. So don't be worried about that. It's just they are getting used to sucking, and they are not very effective suckers here. They just do it small. We are also chicken like that. So, but make sure they're also well attached to the breast. But as they get bigger and older, they become more efficient. So that's why you see that they don't suck long before you feel your breast empty. Whereas the new baby may suck for over 30 minutes before the breast will empty. But the bigger babies, bam, like that, within 5-10 minutes, they've emptied the whole breast. So they are more efficient in their sucking. So there's nothing to worry about, and you don't need to. And a baby who is well fed will sleep for 3 to 4 hours when they are full, when they suck very well. Yeah, that's how to know. So, but the answer to your question, the full length answer is in the beginning of this video, so you may need to watch it at the end as well. Oh my goodness, time is running. Okay, I need to stop now. Have we gotten to 7 o'clock? Okay.
No.
Okay, let's rush. Okay, so, yeah, go on.
We have a lot of questions pending.
Okay, you know what? Let me just run through them myself without reading them because that takes time as well. I will just rush through them and one line answers each. And then we can. So, Suveni, your baby can suck fingers. Please, this sucking of fingers sometimes because mothers, when you are late in responding to your babies, they want to suck, they just put anything that they can suck. And after a while, they just find out, oh, this sucking is actually is as pleasurable as sucking the breast as well, because sucking is a pleasurable activity generally on its own. So there's nothing you can do. Most of them outgrow it by themselves. Like you said, when your baby is older, 3 months, start putting things in their hand so that they can play with toys in their hands. So when they have something to do with their hands, they will likely suck on the hand. Store breast milk. So warm breast milk, store in the fridge 5 days, freezer of the fridge 2 weeks, freezer that is separate for only storage, not opened every day, 3 months. That answer is on our breastfeeding. You need to watch all our breastfeeding videos. Those answers are there as well. My baby is 11 months, eating right. Can I stop breastfeeding? You can if you want to, but we recommend you do 2 years. So if you don't want to do 2 years, some people do 1 year. At least you've tried. I'm happy that at least you do 1 year. Yes, you can express breast milk without breast pump very well. In fact, your hand is the best. So watch that breastfeeding video. There's one on how to express and stop breast milk. All those of you asking about breast pump story, watch the video on how to express and stop breast milk. You can do it. The demonstration is there. It's very easy to do. My baby will be in the crèche, but I work in school where the crèche is. Yes, this is good. This is what I did as well when I was working. So I take my baby to the same crèche in my hospital, and I would just go and breastfeed during my breaks, or they would just call me. I also express and keep, but if I'm having the time, then I go and breastfeed as well. So it's a good idea. So do it. It works. Pacifier the problem with pacifier is that it can cause nipple confusion, so your baby may want to start sucking the pacifier instead of the breast. So we don't want to, especially in the very first 2-3 months, we don't want you to be using pacifier dummies, anything. We want you to use let baby suck on the breast directly. Yes, well done, Samuel. Your baby is doing well. Thank you so much for the teaching. Thank you. Oh, I've answered this question on how to produce more milk while extracting. I've answered that question. Poopy. No, my baby may go a whole day. How old is your baby? Please always put the age of your baby. Your baby can go a whole day without pooing on exclusive breastfeeding. That is fine. But your baby should not go a whole day without making a pee. That is wrong. A baby that is sucking should be producing urine. So your baby is not producing urine. I'm worried about that baby. That is an emergency. You should go see a pediatrician immediately. I hope you are not. Some of you, when you use nappies, all this your iPad dry nappies, your baby is making urine, but you can't see because the nappy is so dry. So what I normally tell such parents is that remove the nappies. So when you breastfeed, you'll be seeing the pee and just get ready for your house to get wet. But it doesn't matter. You can see it. So you can put like a little rubber balloon around your baby. If it's a boy, it's easier. You can put it around their penis and you can see the urine coming to it. So because you must be able to see. And that's what we do. Even if you come to the hospital to see the pediatrician, we're going to make sure we collect the urine to see. So that to see whether if baby is not making urine, it's an emergency. Baby must make urine in 24 hours. So no urine is an emergency. No poo-poo is fine because some babies on exclusive breastfeeding may not poo for 2 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that as long as baby is fine. And because they store it, and then when they want to do it, they will not do a big, massive poo, but it's still going to be soft. It's not hard. That is fine. Yes, well done, Lavina. I love what you're doing. 2 years is a goal. You are the gold standard. All right, Samuel. Complementary breastfeeding. How many times should I? Okay, good question, Samuel. When you start complementary feeding, keep breastfeeding like you were breastfeeding before. Don't reduce the breastfeeding. Don't stop the breastfeeding, but you now start adding complementary food. Now, all your questions about complementary food, go to our guide section. Do watch the videos because it's a whole 1 hour lecture on its own. Do go watch all the videos on how to go about doing complementary feeding. I won't be able to answer that today, but you really need to please do that video before you start complementary feeding, because you will avoid making some of the mistakes people make when they go to complementary feeding. All right, final. How can it be corrected that one breast is bigger than the other? That is natural. Our breasts are not the same. The one is always bigger than the other. There's nothing to be corrected about that. But if you want to really correct it, you can go and see Dr. Ayo for surgery. The plastic surgeon, they can help you. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with one breast. All your body are not equal. I hope you know your legs are also not the same. There's always one that is bigger than the other. We all have our bigger side and the smaller side. No water for e-cups on exclusive breastfeeding. No water. No, it is not okay. Exclusive breastfeeding, if your baby is having e-cups, give breast milk. No water. Only breast milk. Breast milk is 80% water. So there's really no need to give any extra water. So exclusive breast, this is why I always like to define my own exclusive breastfeeding, because many people say they are doing exclusive breastfeeding, but they are giving water for e-cups. It's no longer exclusive breastfeeding, no. That one is predominant breastfeeding. What do you mean by 2? You mean 2 years old? Yeah, the longer you breastfeed, the better for the baby. But if you have done, if you do before 2 years, it's okay. But we encourage you to do 2 years and above. But at least do the first 6 months and as much as you can do after that. The longer, the better, both for you and even for the baby. Yeah, I get your point. So if you're even if you are not even if you are not eating well, your body will be producing breast milk, but you will be the one losing weight, and you may struggle, and you may, so the babies are perfect parasites, so the body will keep on trying to make the breast milk. So, but you will be the one really, really struggling. So it's better you eat so that you can have enough to produce milk, and but drink a lot of water as well. Does exclude breastfeeding need multivitamin? No, they don't, especially if you are taking multivitamins. But some people give, there's nothing wrong if you want to give vitamin drops. Some country like in the UK, because they have little vitamin D, they always give vitamin D drops. But in Nigeria, we don't recommend any vitamins. But if you want to give your usual vitamin drops, it's fine, but it's not necessary actually. Just breast milk is fine. That the breast, I don't know which drug your gynecologist recommend. We don't recommend any. Pediatricians don't recommend any drug for breast milk to flow well. So I don't know. You need to tell me which medication your gynecologist recommend, then I can ask Dr. Jumoke what you say. No, that is a myth. Taking water, cold water, does not affect your baby. Because when you take cold water, the cold water doesn't go straight to your baby. When your milk is coming out, it's still going to come out at 30. It's going to still come out at your inner body temperature. Breast milk is hot when it's out. I hope you know that. So your cold water is for you, it's not for the baby. Yeah, do family planning. Oh, thank you for supporting me. All right, I think I'm almost done now. Oh my goodness, it's flowing. I think I've gotten to 7. Okay, yes, I've gotten to 7. So if you have more questions from 7 o'clock, you have to post it on the Facebook group. I just always want to make sure I answer those who have come in at 7. Is it possible for a breastfeeding mother without menstruation to get pregnant? Yes, very, very possible. Very, very possible. Do family planning, do family planning, you will get pregnant too. So please, it's very possible. Okay, so I've answered all the questions that came in before 7 on Facebook, but let me answer anyone that you see on Instagram. Okay, I think I've answered that. Is it normal for one of my breast milk to be more than the other? Yes, it is normal. I do guess, yes. Your breasts are not the same. One will be more, you will notice that one is usually fuller than the other. It is natural, it is perfectly normal. We are not completely symmetrical, so that's okay. My infant baby have red rashes. I'll try some medicine. Oh, okay. Today's a breastfeeding open house. You may need to see one of our pediatricians for the treatment of that rashes. What's the cause of recurrent cough? There are many things that can cause recurrent cough, but today is about breastfeeding, so I will just answer any question about breastfeeding. Men drinking their breast. This one. What is my view on men drinking breast milk? Hey, thank you for asking that question. I need to answer that question. Please, all the men, thank you. We know that the breast is for the men because their wife is part of what you want. But please, that breast milk is for the baby. Ejo, Undo. What are you beg people again? So please, men, don't drink our baby's breast milk. Your mother has given you your own breast milk. That's why you survived to marry this woman too, whose mother also gave her breast milk. So this our new baby. We need to protect this baby. We need to make sure that the baby survives. So breast milk is for the baby. I'm not saying that men cannot play with their wife's breast or all that. But please, the milk inside, let the baby only. Don't drag breast milk with the babies. Men, I hope you are listening. If you are a man and you are listening to me, please talk to me in the comment section that we are communicating. Am I communicating? Please, when the mothers are breastfeeding, let the breast milk be for the baby. I mean, why would you as a grown man want to be drinking breast milk? Go and drink milk now. Women, buy milk for the fridge for your husband so that they will drink that one, whether it's peak milk or whether all the milk available, let them drink that one. But that breast milk is for our baby. It's for our baby. Please don't drag it with the baby. Thank you so much. I hope I've communicated. If I have not communicated, let me know. So I'm really serious, really here. I'm really serious. So babies are the ones that need the breast milk. So you can do other things with the breast, but the breast milk, Undo, please, let's leave that one for the baby. Thank you so much, Shegon. We are very grateful. So that our baby will also become like you one day. But if baby doesn't survive because baby doesn't get breast milk, how we for do? And I know some men will give their wives money to go and buy formula, and yet they want to be taking the breast milk. It is wrong, please. It is really, really wrong. You drink the formula and let the baby drink the breast milk, because the breast milk is the best for the baby. All right, so I'm going to do our we're going to do our, what's it called now, our
Raffle drawer.
okay, I hope you can see my screen. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
they've sent me the names of the people that participated, so I'm going to copy the names now and I'm going to put it. I think we have done Raffle Drawer now, so I don't need to explain how it works again. I'm just going to put it straight into the. I got like 303 names. Wow, that's a lot of people. Each of this name is a breastfeeding story. Each of this name is a breastfeeding story. So where is the this thing? Yeah. Okay. So can you see my random name picker? If anywhere you can see it. Can you
Yes,
see?
ma'am. I can see it.
Yes. Can you see the name? Because I'm on the page now where I'm putting the names on. So I just want to make sure. I know it
Okay.
may not be easy for you guys to see. Let me see if I can close all the adverts on the side and everything. Well, we are using it for free, so they won't allow us to. They won't allow us
They
to
are
remove
really
that.
tiny.
Yeah, but the names are there. Trust me, the names are there. So I know it's some of you may look tiny. Let me go to my stream yard. Yeah, but you can see the names there. So what we're going to do is to click on the all this advert showing on the side is not allowing you to see it very well. So let me close the adverts again. But
Okay.
it has gone to the up here. All right, no worries. Just follow it with faith, because I have to. Let me see whether I can make it full. Let me see whether I can make my screen the only thing you will see. Is it better? Yeah, I think it's
I
better.
guess so. I guess so.
Okay, so the
It
names
is.
are all there. The names are all there now. And then, oh my goodness, there's so many questions on the. I wish I can answer your question, but no worries. So we'll answer them after. So you can see the names, 303 names that gave us breastfeeding stories. We appreciate you for your stories. We thank you for breastfeeding your babies. We really, really appreciate it. And I love the fact that many of you say you were able to breastfeed because ATP gave you that support. At least
Yeah.
that is enormous feedback for me. That is me. Like, even if it's only one mother that our group has enabled to breastfeed, who would not have exclusive breastfed our babies, I think we have done a lot of good in the world already. So thank you for sharing your story with us. All right, so the random name picker is going to pick a random name now. I'm going to enable the 3-step randomness, so that make it even more random. All right, here we go. Click. Oh, the name is picked already. And let me look for the winner. Uh, and the winner is, who is the winner? I'm creating suspense. Okay, the winner is
Yes. Wow.
Naive
Number
Face. Oh, by,
290.
do you know the person?
Yes. If you're naive, faith, obey.
Yeah, let me put it on the banner so she will know. Okay, so let's go back to let's be back. Okay, so the winner is Faith Obina. Let me put her name in the banner. I always like to do that.
Yeah, so that she can see. I hope she's watching.
This is the name of the winner for our breastfeeding week, and let me take a screenshot.
Yes.
Let me take this.
Congratulations.
Where is it? Okay, yeah. Let me take a screenshot of the winner. Is this thing that I? Let me just take a screenshot of it so that I can save it. Control print screen. Where's my print screen? Oh, okay, yeah. If you are watching, please let us know you are there. Oh. Faith, who is the winner? Yeah, I've saved it on my screen. So good.
Okay.
So okay, let's go through comments and see whether the winner is in the comment section.
Yes. I don't think so. Um, okay, Victoria Banigo, she's one of our winners of the quiz. She's saying, well done, ma. Okay, we are not taking
Okay.
questions anymore.
Yeah, well, I don't think. Let's look for.
Congratulations to her.
Oh, it's almost 8 p.m. Yeah. So who knows? Can we look for her on Facebook? Okay, these are our questions. These are our questions. Okay. I'm just going to give a little more time to see whether our winner will come up.
Welcome. Yes, ma'am.
If you're one of our moderators can help me look for her on Facebook. Let me see if I can do that myself. Okay, if you're Nayi, you are the winner. Let's look for you, and let me look for her. Oh, okay. I think I've left her name up. Okay, that's the name. And today is the end of the breastfeeding week. I hope you've all had a wonderful breastfeeding week.
Okay.
Okay.
I've seen her on Facebook
Yes, I've seen her.
dropping a message, but she's not online.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I can see all her breastfeeding story. I want to look for her breastfeeding story. Okay. Anyway, she's good. Her baby is now 6 months old. Okay, lovely. Okay. All right. So if you're Nai, don't forget to let us know so you can claim your prize. So that's good. All right. Congratulations. We'll get your prize over to you. I'm sure we'll put it on our well, yeah, okay, okay, I thought she was one. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for those on Instagram joining us as well. I really appreciate you. I know most of our people are on Facebook and all that. I really wish I can answer all your questions, but I'm not so sure.
Her time is
Huh? Our time is gone. Our time is gone. Okay. Okay, you've asked two anonymous questions. So answering our question takes 72 hours on our Facebook group because we are all volunteers. So we all do other things as well. So we are not full-time 24 hours online answering questions. But I trust that there's no question that is over 24 hours because I did a lot of clear up yesterday. So if you ask anonymous question, go search for your question because we may have answered it and you don't know we've answered it. If you didn't get a notification from Facebook, it may be that your question has been answered and you are not the one you are not just saying it. So you need to search for your question by yourself. I think Facebook should send you a notification if you turn on your notifications. So
yes, it
all right,
does.
thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching. And thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much for watching. Thank you. God bless everybody. So we've come to the end of our breastfeeding week 2021. I think it's the most amazing breastfeeding week we've had. So
Yeah. So engaging.
engaging, yes.
Wow.
And I think I learned a lot, and I believe you all learned as well. So thank you
We
so
all
much.
did.
So, our next breastfeeding week is going to be in 2022 August. Thank you so much, Ugona, Isiagu on Instagram, and all the people watching on Instagram. Thank you so much. I will see you guys all next. We'll be back again for Monday for our ACP live usual routine. But I think we've had a wonderful breastfeeding week. And congratulations to all our winners. So we are giving away oh, where is Vera? Vera, where are the people that are getting the other things? You say you're going to give 40 people books.
Books.
I'm not sure, but I think we will announce that on the group because Vera is not here now.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure the criteria she uses, or I don't know whether she want me to pick them also by random raffle. But
No,
oh, okay, you are part of the committee.
maybe she will announce it later.
Okay, good.
There's a plan for that. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Oh, okay, good. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, all our breastfeeding committee members as well, for doing a good, fantastic job. Thank you to the nurses that came to give us all the beautiful lectures. And thank you to all of you that have watched. And we will see you again on Monday. And that's bye for me for now.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, if you didn't answer your question, please go and put it on our Facebook group. Trust me, we will answer them. But you have to put them before 12 midnight because we don't answer questions on Sunday, but we definitely answer them on Monday. If it's really urgent, we will answer them for you by Monday. So try and put it on our Facebook group. Thank you. Sorry that we couldn't take all the questions because they came after our program was supposed to end at 7. So that's why I couldn't answer questions that came after 7. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. We'll see you
There's so many of them.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a lovely night.